Hey, what's up, guys? So this is part one of my history, my health history that led me needing a heart transplant last year. So first off, I just want to say that some of the stuff that I talk about is going to be really watered down. Like I'm not gonna be able to explain like everything because it would just take way too long and it'd get way too complicated. But I'm pretty much just gonna like dumb it down and explain everything like as well as I understand it. But if you guys want to add to it, go ahead and comment. And if you have any questions, go ahead and ask and I can answer them. So this is the first part, which I'll go over the first 10 years of my life. And then we'll just go from there. So I was born with something called transposition of the great arteries, or TGA, and it was also called transposition of the great vessels. So pretty much what that means is the normal heart has two chambers. It's more complicated, but it has two chambers and two main arteries above it. So when your heart beats, blood gets cycled through your body. Comes in one vein, goes through the heart, gets pumped out the other vein, and it just circulates throughout your whole body, bringing oxygen-rich blood to your lungs and to the rest of your body, right? That's what keeps us alive. Well, with TGA, which is what I was born with, the main arteries are kind of switched so that you get two loops of blood flow, and one blood flow is pretty much sending oxygen-rich blood to your body, but not to your lungs, and the other cycle is sending oxygen non-rich blood to your lungs and not your body. So in other words, your lungs are not getting the sufficient oxygen, to stay alive. And babies that are born that way don't survive lack of oxygen. So when I was born, my mom would tell me that I had like blue extremities, blue fingertips, blue toes, blue lips, because of the lack of oxygen. All right, so the doctors pretty much gave my parents a choice. Either let nature take its course, or attempt surgery, and was a risk. Obviously, they gave me like I think it was like a 5% chance of survival, and my parents made the choice to go ahead with the surgery, which is what most of us would have done. I would have done that for my kids. So obviously it worked. So what they had to do was a certain procedure called a mustard procedure, where they go into the actual heart. They make these chambers, or like these baffles, that allows the blood to flow into the direction that it needs to flow, to make one continuous flow of oxygen-rich blood that would finally make it to the lungs and the rest of my body. So I had my first open heart surgery when I was 1 year old. When I was a 1 year old, and obviously I don't remember it, but I did grow up with like a scar my whole life, and I never really understood it, but whatever. The time kind of passed, and I did, for the most part, I think I did pretty good first couple years of my life. I do remember having doctor's appointments, x-rays, EKGs, echoes, all that stuff, but it was never anything crazy. And if I was not in the hospital, it was mainly because I was having like maybe dizzy spells and You know, I never spent too much time in the hospital during that time. Remember in 5th grade, I did have to wear a monitor that had like, you know, the probes that stick to you, and then it was connected to like this monitor. But I mean, it was the 80s, so the thing was as big as like a Zach Morris phone, and I had to carry that with a sling. I think I had to carry it for like a week or so, and that actually recorded a whole weeks of my like heart rhythms. And then at the end of the week, I took it back to the cardiologist, and they were able to like print out the whole recording of it. And this is way before internet and like Wi-Fi and everything, so it was all done very, very like well, I don't want to say low budget. Anyways, so yeah, they figured out that I was having, you know, episodes of what's called like atrial fibrillation, which is AFib, which is just like your heart kind of goes crazy for a little bit, and then it kind of settles out, then it goes crazy for a little bit. And I kind of grew up with that. Even after that, I pretty much felt that my whole life. So it wasn't anything really that, it didn't really bother me. It didn't really like slow me down, but obviously it was dangerous because it could actually cause seizures. But it never did with me, thankfully. So that would happen, and then it wasn't until I was about 9 or 10 where I started having regular like dizzy spells and blackouts. I was fainting a lot after running, after exercise, after doing physical stuff. You know, I was a kid outside playing. It was the 90s, so 80s and 90s, we never were inside. I was always outside playing, and I remember I would run home when I started feeling dizzy, and I would just like pass out. And so my mom took me to one of my appointments with the cardiologist, and the cardiologist did all these tests. And I remember him saying like, you need to be admitted to the hospital like today, like right now. And I guess it turned out that, you know, my heart was not keeping up with my activity, with everything that I was doing at that time, you know, running around and being a kid. And I was a very energetic kid, you know. I'm surprised I didn't have silver teeth, let's just put it that way. But they said that I wasn't, my heart was just not keeping up with me, my energy. So knowing that it would get worse the older I got, they decided that I needed to get surgery. And this is the first time I ever heard about pacemakers. So at like 11 years old, 10 or 11, I got my first pacemaker. And yeah, like it definitely made a big difference. And so I'll stop it there and check in for part 2, where I'll talk about my teenage years with a pacemaker and other things that happened in my health up until my 20s. And so check in later. Peace.